Hello, guys, and welcome. So, yeah, we're here. We are here. And let me be the first to say that it is a hard time at the minute to be a Leicester City supporter. Struggling quite a bit, I feel. In the league, obviously, we're not doing well at all. 7 now on the bounce. We're not doing great. Yeah, it doesn't really get much simpler than that, really. We're not doing very well, and I think we need to just have a discussion because I'm about done. Really struggling. Thanks for getting involved in the chat, guys. I was just going to touch on where I've been and everything else, and obviously why I've not been making content and stuff. So we'll start with that first, and then obviously we'll move on to all the touching subjects and everything else that we need to get in contact about. So basically, guys, I've just not been around. My computer's not been playing ball at the minute. I've managed to get it all working again now, so fingers crossed I can get it sorted. I desperately need a new camera. As you can tell, it looks weird. I feel like I'm underwater. So these are a few things that obviously I do need to take control of and get sorted, which is understandable, and I hope you guys can understand. But I will be publishing more and more content now. Now these things have been resolved. So looking into this, just quickly before we get into things. So Greg, welcome, Greg. Sack the board. I am going to have stuff to say on a lot of this stuff, so we will get back to that one. Don't worry. Grim stuff, ain't it? Really struggling to get a few games. Yeah. I'm with you there, bud. I am massively with you there. I think it's a struggle for everybody involved. And again, I will touch on this momentarily. Evening, Daz, where have you been? The performances are disgraceful, mate. I agree. I do agree. I think the performances... I think the performances are okay, as in the half performances that we've seen. You know, we put on a good performance against Man City, just couldn't take them to the sword. We put on a good performance against Liverpool, considering they've smashed teams up the arse. God knows how many, 4-5-0. We actually put a good result out. It's just the final details that I think we're struggling with at the minute. Yes, good. Well, you can hear me. That's the main thing, bud. The team is an absolute shambles. Okay. Yeah, no, and again, and this is exactly the point of what I'm trying to get at. The team is a shambles, but everyone's got injuries at the end of the day. We're not the only team to have injuries. Man City have injuries. What I will say is a lot of people are... I'm going to get this out of the way now. I'm going to get this out of the way now before I go into any more comments or anything like that, because this winds me up, and it really does wind me up. I'm a Leicester City supporter through and through, and I think everyone that goes to the King Power, or the majority of people that have YouTube channels that cover Leicester City, want the best for the club. But I get so frustrated when people... So we appointed... We obviously lost Enzo Maresca due to Chelsea approaching him, and they offered us £10 million or whatever they paid that there. People were pissing and moaning about Enzo Maresca's style of football. And you say, you get what you wanted, or be careful what you wish for. So now we don't have Enzo. Okay, Enzo's gone. Enzo's doing really well at Chelsea. We then are linked with Graham Potter, who again has just lost a game. Right, 2-0 against Palace, who we lost against, right? So the amazing Graham Potter that everyone says is such an amazing coach has fucking lost 2-0, and quite arguably have got has got a better squad than Leicester City have got at the moment. Mohamed Kudus, I know Jared Bowen's injured, but they've got talent. They've got Crescencio Somerville on the other wing. They've got a very good a good team. They've just obviously been missing a leader, which is why they sacked Lopetegui. But the amazing Graham Potter that everybody wanted has lost the game today. Now, I guarantee that the West Ham fans ain't going to call for his head. Now, if he loses 7 on the trot, it might change. But I just feel that Ruud van Nistelrooy has come into an absolute shit show. Let's have it right. He's come into a right shit show. Steve Cooper was appointed, and he got the likes of Edouard on loan. That says it for me. Edouard on loan, Oliver Skip at £25 million. You've got Decordova Reed on a free, but they've all got like 2 or 3 year contracts. To me, it just winds me up that Ruud van Nistelrooy seems to be getting a lot of heat. Now, yes, some of the substitutions today in one or the other games, when El Khanous came off in the Palace game, you could tell he looked really frustrated to come off. And I get that. He's a young lad with a lot to prove, and he's exciting on the ball. When we first signed El Khanous, I know people were sitting there going, oh, he don't look that good. He looks crap. £25 million. It just seems that a lot of people will slag people off because it's the flavour of the month to do so. I genuinely like Ruud van Nistelrooy as a manager, not just as a person. I actually rate him as a manager. I know he's been to other clubs that have got really good teams, but you could say the same about Manchester City. Pep Guardiola, allegedly one of the best managers in the world, if not the best manager in the world, is an absolute fucking nightmare at Manchester City because a few players are injured. So it doesn't really make sense that Ruud van Nistelrooy should be under so much scrutiny because he's working with a bunch of absolute muppets. We've still got the same back line, guys. We've got the same back line that we got relegated with. Let that sink in. Right, that's our defense. Okay, our best goalkeeper is out injured, and Jakub Stolarczyk is doing a really good job. Like let's give him credit where credit's due. I'm glad to see Danny Ward is no way near the bench. That's all I'm saying. I'm just glad that he's no way near the bench. I want him at the fucking club at the end of the season, whether in the Championship or that we managed to scuff it and stay in the Premier League. I don't want him anywhere near this club. But like I say, I'll back Ruud. I don't care. Who else are we going to bring in? You know, Moyes, this, that, the other. Everyone's saying, oh, the Gremlin needs to go, or the Orc needs to go, or whatever the joke was about Steve Cooper. Steve Cooper should have never been an option to appoint. I would have rather have had an interim manager for 2 or 3 months than have Steve Cooper appointed at our club at all. And that's my opinion as a supporter. People don't have to agree with my opinion or my points. That's what freedom of speech is. But for my opinion, I'm sick to death of people having a pop at the manager. The manager has took over a struggling squad. It was always going to be a battle, no matter who came in, no matter what. Everyone's loving Ruud van Nistelrooy when we get a 3-1 win against West Ham because that's what we needed. We needed a win. Yeah? And all right, we've not got the best results recently. I get that. We've not got the best results recently. But it's not the end of the world. We look at other teams around us, and I think this is going to go. It's like Ruud says when he took the job, it's going to go down to the last day of the season, which it will do. It will go down to the last day of the season. So I wanted to get that out of the way first, guys. That was one of the main sticking points for me. Ruud van Nistelrooy's got a squad to think about and game managements to think about and making tactical changes. We don't know what's going on in his head. Okay, I probably wouldn't have started Jordan Ayew if I was playing FIFA or something like that. But in an actual real life game, the reason Jordan Ayew started was because James Justin is our only right back that we've got at the moment that is integrated within the squad. Yes, we've signed Koulibaly, which is fantastic, and we'll get onto that in a minute. But James Justin is our only right back, and he is shocking at defending. He is terrible at defending. And they've obviously got is it Iwobi, I think it is, on the left on the right hand side, which is going to be married up to where James Justin is. He'd get Ted a new one. So obviously they've got to put Jordan Ayew on there. I do think the substitutions were a bit questionable, and you're leaving Jamie Vardy on the pitch, who is 38 years old and smokes and has Red Bull. I think he should be subbed off at 60 minutes if he's not performing, or brought on as a substitution to make an impact. Maybe those things could change, but managers are never going to get everything right. I like the fact that Ruud van Nistelrooy is trying to play with the system, and I like that he's trying to play with the system and an identity, which is what I liked about Enzo. Let's get into a couple of these things, guys. Go dig off on a bit of a tangent there. Sorry. So again, LCFC Grey Fox. This team is an absolute shambles. Yeah, again, I agree. It's not great. I'd argue this side is miles off the side we went down with last time. Genuinely think that Leicester side from that season batters this current side. I'd say so. Obviously, you've got Harvey Barnes, you've got James Maddison, Timothy Castagna, Yuri Tielemans. You've got a plethora of talent that's available at that squad. But again, that's the point, isn't it? You know, we are a weakened squad. That's the issue. Once again, our pants have been pulled down. Skip, more bad business. The club have and Top have lost the plot. I'd say that Top struggling. I'm always going to be a defender of Top. I always will be, just because obviously what happened with his dad and the way that things are run with the club. Rudkin needs to go for me. I think he's an absolute knob jockey, and you're thinking he just desperately needs to go. I don't want anything to do with the bloke anymore. And Whelan can fuck off as well. But I think Top just needs new, fresh people around him. Needs to work from the ground up. I think he needs to get rid of Rudkin and Whelan. Keep his dad's football club and his legacy alive, and just replace it with actually competent people that know what the fuck they're doing. Edouard, free wages, it's ridiculous, mate. I don't want to talk about Edouard. I think it's insulting that you've signed a player from Crystal Palace. They don't want him back. We don't even fucking start the bloke. Like, I don't even want to know what went on with that. Steve Cooper's fucking signing. I think I don't know. Greg, have to be blaming the board and requirement team for the shambles in the summer. Yeah, recruitment team. Yeah. Yes, Rue deserves criticism for the forerun, but also the group of players who's available just isn't good enough. I'd agree. I do agree with a little bit of that. I think the board and the recruitment team is one of those things. But obviously, you got to remember that we had Steve Cooper, and Steve Cooper would have wanted to play a specific style of things. So they would have chopped and changed how they do things. What I will say about Ruud van Nistelrooy is when he's come in, he's set a specific type of player. He's also said the right attitude, the right personal file, everything else. If you actually listen to what they've been saying and what Ruud has been saying in a couple of these interviews, it's amazing what he's been saying. I've got faith in the bloke, and I think even if he doesn't turn it around, who gives a shit? There's nothing we can do at the end of the day. Even if we got David Moyes in, David Moyes lost a game the other day at Everton. It's not a quick fix, and time's running out. Ruud has joined a shit show for me, guys, and it's not going to change my mind. Ruud has already joined a sinking ship. So he signed a 2.5-year contract with us. I fully expect Ruud van Nistelrooy to be with us when we go back down to the Championship and probably get embargoed and have 5-10 point deduction and still fucking get promotion, because that's how fucking good we are. Because that's what will happen. I'm sorry, it's what will happen. Speaks volumes, don't it, Daz, when we've still got the same defences. Yeah, when we dropped last time, and the lack of star men like Madders, Barnes and Yuri, also Vardy a bit old now. Again, look, Greg, mate, I completely agree, mate. And this is one of the main problems that we've got. When the season that we were too good to go down, this is what caused us problems. We'd budgeted for a top 8 finish. It was stipulated. I think Rob Tanner also, quote me on that, but I think someone they budgeted for a top 8 finish and we got relegated, which means that we were like, shit. And obviously the wages and everything were already high enough as it was. So that's what screwed us over with regards to financial fair play, FFP, selling players and all that sort of stuff. We didn't finish high enough, and we obviously didn't get the money that we were expecting to. So yeah, it's not great. One thing, Ruud today is white. Yeah, again, right. And this is the question. So my father-in-law was at the game today. I had to go to my daughter's cheerleading thing. Fantastic. But yeah, it was great. So he said that as well, and I was trying to watch it on a completely legal stream, and say, like, when Bilal El Khanous gets subbed off, it's got to be for something other than his link-up play, because Bilal El Khanous reminds me of a Maddison, where he's able to find a pass, he's able to create something. He's our machine, yeah. So he creates the chances. When you're taking him off, it's almost like Conor Gallagher at Chelsea. Conor Gallagher at Chelsea was literally just a dog chasing a ball, but he'd give you tons and tons and tons of energy, which also then puts a high press on the opposition. So again, I think maybe that's why he's done it, but that's just a guess. Vardy can't play every minute of every game. I agree. I think Jamie Vardy should not be playing every minute of every game. I think Jamie Vardy should do, even if it's not his last season, he is now 38 years of age. He needs to be an impact substitution. We need to be starting Dakar every game, or Edouard every game, because let's have it right. Tom Cannon's probably going to go, unfortunately. And I don't see us bringing in another striker, because why would you get rid of a 21, 22-year-old up-and-coming striker who knows where the back of the net is in the division below us, to then get him, an out-of-form striker who's not performing in a foreign country, or someone who don't want to get rid of, like another Edouard. So, no, I think Vardy needs to be an impact substitution for me. Hello there, LCFC Forever. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Get involved in the chat if you want to. I am going to have a couple more points. Will Topsat Rudkin, though. Do you know what? I don't think he will. I think it's just about weathering a storm at the end of the day. You've got to weather a storm with Leicester City. We knew it was going to be difficult, and I think we're kidding ourselves as a fan base if we didn't think it was going to be difficult to stay in this league. I'm sorry. And I think this is another point I want to touch on while you've said that there, mate. I think as a fan base, we don't do ourselves any favours. You know, we did the impossible by surviving relegation one season, and then we, win the fucking Premier League and we're in Europe and everything else. You've gone from a complete low to a massive high. You've then put loads of players on really extortionate contracts and everything else. I think it's a joke. So of course it's going to be hard to come back from it. But, look, we will come back from it. It's just whether it's this season or in a few seasons, it doesn't matter. The fact is, I've had people saying Ruud van Nistelrooy out. I don't think that's the way to go at this precise moment in time. I think Ruud van Nistelrooy is much better than Steve Cooper. I think he probably should have been the candidate that I would have preferred to have from the summer. So he's got a pre-season and we can probably buy players in the transfer window that Ruud van Nistelrooy wanted. Whatever. Probably not. There we go. Really feel sorry for Vardy. Daz, not going to lie, mate. Edouard clearly not good enough, and Daka struggling with the pace of the game over here. Yeah. And you know what? Yeah, I agree with that. I think Cannon for me would have been one to keep, but then again, like I say, it's about the here and the now, and I think that's what the board are probably thinking, and Ruud van Nistelrooy's thinking. Yeah, it might be a really good one for the future, but do you want to try and stay in this fucking league or not? And if you do want to stay in this league, you're probably going to need to get rid of him now. Which is a shame because, we bought him for £7.5 million and then Everton are going to get a 25% sell on clause as well. So we sell him for 10, they get 2.5 back. We get 7.5, but obviously on the books, we've had him for a year and a half. So we will get some money on the books. It'll look like a profit. But I think if Sheffield United, if he's going there and they get promotion, we get an extra 3 million. Cooper had no injuries and look at the injuries now and Ruud. Exactly. I think if you've got Fatawu, right, again, let's just have this. I want to put this in there, guys, just quickly. If we've got Fatawu on the right-hand side, right, Facundo Buonanotte, for me, comes on for Bilal El Khanous. Does that not make sense? Does that not make sense for you? Like, if we're struggling to get a game, you've got Abdul Fatawu, who's our little engine room, yeah? You have Bilal El Khanous, and then you've got Mavididi on the left-hand side. Let's say you need to get a goal, right? You could bring on Facundo Buonanotte for either Mavididi or for Bilal El Khanous and then move Bilal over to the left because that's where he's played for Morocco. So it's not impossible to do that. I feel that we are missing that explosiveness of Abdul Fatawu. Again, he was a standout player for us. I think the only good thing is if he is injured, bless him. And I know I say the only good thing is if we go down to the Championship, people probably won't come in for him and even if they do, we need to make profit on the players. That's it. It's PSR. That's what it is. It's a business model. They will need us to make profit on players and to clear the wage bill and get it down. Abdul Fatawu is only on 10 grand a week or something stupid. So I really don't see him going. Mads will probably go though. Mads will definitely go. The subs could be better though. No, and I agree. I'm in 100% agreement with you there. I genuinely feel that the substitutions could be much better. And that is my only criticism that I have for Ruud is the substitutions are a bit questionable. But then again, I like the fact that he's still keeping Vardy on the pitch and having Daka on there as well. So he's almost going for the two strikers or the one in behind to put so much attacking pressure on there. My only question is how long can Vardy keep up with it? Maybe Vardy's telling Ruud van Nistelrooy, no, keep me on. I'm all right. Vardy knows his body better than everybody else. Cooper had a fully fit team. Ruud doesn't. Exactly. I agree. Ruud's just inherited a shit side of things, unfortunately. Missing a big part of the spine in Wilf, especially in my opinion, goes under the radar in his dirty side of the game, winning the ball, etc. Missing protection in the front of the defence. And this is exactly what we're saying. We've not got the strength in depth like other teams. If you take a Liam Delap out of Ipswich and an Amari Hutchinson out of Ipswich, what they're not going to play because the majority of their players are fucking League One championship level. You know, the majority of their players, not a few, the majority of their players have come up with them. So you take a few key players out of that Ipswich side, they're screwed. So you take our number one goalkeepers out, our right wingers out, Wilfred Ndidi's out. There's so many things that are against us. I mean, I'm not making excuses. I'm literally just saying that I think that is genuinely half the reason. Mads is a paramount miss. Exactly that. You're just echoing exactly what I'm saying. And I love it because it's not just me. It's everybody. Jacob's DJ. Yeah, I agree. I agree. You know, the Arsenal game and every other game pretty much just shows how good Mads Manson really is. There we go. Ricardo, Fatu, and Ndidi, Mads, with them all fit, we stay up 100%. There's not a question or a shadow of a doubt in my mind. Not a shadow of a doubt in my mind. If we stay up, if we had these players available, because I'm telling you now, Ruud van Nistelrooy would utilise Ricardo Pereira because he's not an absolute moron like Cooper was. Ricardo would be playing most games. I don't know. Defense too bad. I think the money that we've got available needs to be put into a centre back and the defence. I don't want a striker. I want us to get a new back line or a centre back or two before I even think about a striker, quite frankly. Yeah. Fair enough. Ricardo is not good on JJ, but if we sign a centre back too, it would massively upgrade. I agree. I agree 100%. Hoping this new lad right back makes a big difference, but need a new centre back or two. Yeah, I agree. We need a centre back or two. Connor Cody is just a glorified cheerleader. Yannick Vestergaard is, I would say, amazing in the back three, like we used to do with Enzo and stuff when Ricardo used to push in there. He'd be the centre point. You'd have two either side. He was very good at that and dictating the style of play, but that's because teams wouldn't come on to us in the Championship like they do in the Prem. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we sign nobody though. I'm also of that opinion. It's the 18th today. There's no word on Tom Cannon out the door. There's nothing. There's nothing at all. I think they maybe do have people signed up or like lined up to get business done. It's just how fast they can get it done. But yeah, I do agree. I do agree. I think he's having a couple of off games at the minute. No trust in the board at all. Glover has an eye for talent, but only so much he can do with finding gems. I agree. I agree. I actually quite like Glover. Again, he can find the gems, but you can't get the contracts over the door. You can't get all of these things. I do have to criticise Ruud Daz. I get we've got a lot out, but he isn't the biggest issue here. It's Rudkin and co running the club. Like I say, mate, at the end of the day, everybody's entitled to their opinion, and like I said, I'm not saying that Ruud van Nistelrooy is exempt from. I don't think he's exempt from criticism. I think his substitutions for these last two games have been extremely questionable. I don't think he's a shit manager, though. I think he's a good, competent manager because he's done it at PSV. He's done it at Manchester United. Manchester United had Eric Ten Hag, who'd won them 2 bits of silverware. And then Ruud comes in, and all right, he played us, but he'd won a game in Europe. He'd beat us. Ruud van Nistelrooy is a good coach for me, and I think it's more of a long-term appointment because he's, again, and I need to be very clear with this, he's not just coming in and saying score goals and defend. He's coming in and trying to change yet again another style of play. These players are like, what the fuck's going on? I'm playing Enzo ball in the Championship, and I think I'm going to be playing Enzo ball again in the Premier League. Enzo leaves. All right, okay, well, Graham Potter's really good at possessive football and good, exciting football. We're going to get him. Actually, no, we're now going to get a gremlin who don't know what the bloody hell he's doing. We've now got to play to his side of things. Oh, okay, now we've got Ruud van Nistelrooy coming in who actually does know what he's doing because he's done it before. These players are like, they don't know whether they're coming or they're going. So, they're just getting used to his ideas, And we have had the December rush as well, boys, where it's hard for managers to get training sessions in. I mean, look at Ruben Amorim. Ruben Amorim is an absolute joke. Poor bloke. He's gone from Sporting up here, smashing Manchester City in the Champions League, smashing teams up and down the pitch, left, right, and centre, to joining Manchester United, who, let's be quite frank, a lot of their players would get into our starting 11. And he's only won because of Amad Diallo scoring a hat-trick the other day. I think I think right now, I think Manchester United fans have got a lot more to moan about than we have. How can we go from a club winning the title and FA Cup into Europe to one that's now turned into a yo-yo club? Well, the thing is, Greg, I get that, but Leicester's always been a yo-yo club, bud. We've always been a yo-yo club. I was sitting in my granddad's kitchen fucking 25, 26 years ago, sitting in his kitchen, listening to the Wireless, listening to Leicester in the bloody Coca-Cola Cup and all this K-pop. We've been in League One, Championship, this, up here, down there, up there, this. This is what we've done. The main bit of stability that we had is where we did the Great Escape, and then obviously we've built up from that. And look, we've had a fantastic tenure. We've won trophies. So many fans of other clubs have never, ever done it, and they're never going to do it, or they probably don't stand a good chance of doing it. We've done things that no one thought was possible. And out of it, we've got a good, lovely stadium. We've got an amazing training ground. And, we've got an owner that cares about the club. Whether he's got the people in to do the job correctly to actually make it a successful thing is a completely different point altogether. That's it. It's madness. I agree. Vestergaard is a lamppost. He's a very well-spoken lamppost. He's a very well-spoken lamppost. But yes, he's a fucking lamppost. That's being kind. Ruud van Nistelrooy is not a bad manager. What's he supposed to do with the team? Exactly. And this is my point. And this is my point. Ruud van Nistelrooy came in and said it was going to be a hard job. He knew it was going to be a hard job. As far as we were made aware, and Ruud van Nistelrooy had said this when he did his thing, and he said it in his press conferences as well, when he signed in December, the club had stipulated what was available and what was not available in regards to incomings and outgoings in January. So this has already been discussed. Okay, if Ruud van Nistelrooy is taking this job on with these incomings available and outgoings available, that's his job to obviously sort it out. But the players have got to hold so much more responsibility than Ruud van Nistelrooy. I've literally watched players pull out of chasing a player down and just letting him run further on into space and then go to score a goal. Samare is one of them. Samare looks really good going forward again at the minute because he had a good couple of games. Backtracking, it's fucking horrendous from time to time. Winks' passing has been god-awful and was the reason that they got 2 goals at Palace. I'm sorry. There's so much more at fault. Ruud van Nistelrooy has made a couple of questionable substitutions, but I'm not being funny. If plan A is not working and you look to your bench for plan B, you can't turn around and go, don't worry, lads, stop warming up. I'm not going to play any of you because you're shit. He can't do that. He's got to try chop as much as most people probably would. He's got to chop and change it up. Do you know what I mean? How is James Justin a professional footballer? I don't know, mate. I genuinely don't know at the minute. James Justin, again, James Justin's level is the Championship, and that's it. At least if we drop and Ruud stays, we might see some right sexy football next season. This is what I'm looking forward to. Genuinely. If we stay in the Premier League, fantastic. I'm happy. If we stay in the Premier League, brilliant. Then we can build on it. Ruud will have a pre-season and we'll actually obviously have some good transfer business in the summer. Faz will go, Okoli will go. A couple of Danny Ward won't be on the books anymore. That's 40 grand a week that we're going to clear up. Everson won't be there. That's 20 grand a week we're going to clear up. That's 60 grand a week. If Vardy retires, has 120 grand a week. Good times will be coming for Leicester City. Even if we do get sanctioned and we go down next season, am I going to cry myself to sleep because we're going to get a 5 to 10 point reduction from the Championship for making them look like a bunch of bagheads? Not that bothered, mate, to be fair. We cakewalked the league last season. We'll do the same again this season. Even if we get into the top 6, it doesn't matter. It's one of those things. Agreed. I know we've always been on one. I can remember when we first started going on when we dropped to League One. And I agree. And Greg, this is the thing, mate. And I think this is where it shows. Because I'm going to say something now, and I want you all in the comments to either agree or disagree with me, and then put us to reason as to why you do, because I think it's quite funny. This is. So for a club who the season before had just managed to stay up in the Premier League, the Great Escape. We did it. to then appointing Ranieri and winning the Premier League at 5,000 to 1 odds. Do you honestly, and don't fuck around, like be serious. Do you honestly, hand on heart, think for 1 second that anybody at that club thought that was even possible or even had a contingency plan in place? Because I'm telling you now, they wouldn't. They would have been going, right, we're either going to go down and we need to do X, Y, and Z, or we're going to scrape it and we're just going to stay up and this is going to happen again. So no one's had a contingency plan for this to happen. So a lot of people have been learning on the job because this is the first time that this has ever fucking happened. Not just in our history, in the fucking Premier League, 5,000 to 1 odds, we've won the Premier League. So this is what I'm saying. I understand the board have made some horrific decisions because they have. They've made terrible, 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 terrible decisions. They're horrific. But we've had some good times. We've won the Premier League, the FA Cup, the Community Shield. We've appeared in Europe. We've done a lot of things that a lot of clubs are not doing. Look at Everton. Everton are a shell of a club from what they used to be. A shell of a club. Manchester United, they're a laughing stock at the minute. You know, there's so many other teams that are experiencing bad times. Leicester City, excuse me, Leicester City are not relegated yet. Would it have been nice to get some points at home? Absolutely. Absolutely. It would have been lovely to get some points on the table. And am I pissed off we ain't got points? Of course I'm pissed off we ain't got points. Who ain't? But it ain't over yet. Forest won't last either. I think Forest will finish top 4. I genuinely do. I just think they'll finish top 4. I don't want to say it, but I'm just being a football fan and being honest. Manifest. My missus is a Forest fan. You poor bastard. Winks is a liability. Yeah. Winks. I feel Winks has kind of got this untouchable theory behind him. I think Winks is like, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. For the Championship, he was like a shining light for Enzo. But again, I think Winks is a Prem player, but he's not a top draw Prem player. He's where he needs to be. Yeah, fucking hell. If you got a Cov fan, Jesus wept. We desperately need Ndidi back. I agree, Scam Eggs. Welcome to the chat, mate. Get involved. I agree. JJ used to be one of the Premier League's best fullbacks before his injury, but now he doesn't even know when to boot a ball out of danger. Does getting an injury affect your brain? Really baffles me. No, I agree. Again, when you've had injuries, I've had a couple. When you have injuries, it does make you question what your limits are. Again, you don't want to get injured, so you've almost got that thought and fear of anxiety to hold back maybe 10-20% because you don't want to do it again, even though it's happened. So I hate saying it, guys, but we don't know how Fatu is going to be when he comes back from his injury. Is he going to go 115 mile an hour down the right wing, beating every his man and then smacking it in with his lovely wand of a left foot? I fucking hope so, but I don't know. Injuries do change players, but JJ's had a downfall, mate. I don't think JJ's had a problem. I think JJ's just found his ceiling and he just can't cope with the Prem anymore. The Prem has got harder and harder and harder and harder each year. I don't like the lack of fight from the players. That's my issue. Lack of fight we had in previous years. I agree. I agree. The fighting spirit in this team has gone down. But then again, like I say, negativity breeds negativity at the end of the day. So if the fans are booing the lads in the stadium, which they deserve, obviously, they're going to be a bit pissed off. So it's one of them. Even after PSR, we can't get up for games. And I agree. Guys, we could have been absolutely shafted by PSR. We could have had a right up there, pal. We could have been done left, right, and centre, but we didn't. We escaped on both times now. No clubs have breached for PSR, and we still can't sort it out. No, like I said, time to get used to it. It's going down. So winning the league and ruin expectations. I agree. At the end of the day, I think we had a good run. we had a good run and we just came crashing down because our players were on the beach. Yuri Tielemans weren't signing a new contract. There was a lot of, I think there was a disgruntled dressing room. I think obviously all the drama with Soyuncu and everything probably didn't help out. Kasper Schmeichel leaving definitely didn't fucking help out. Danny Ward in goal definitely didn't fucking help out. So it's one of them. Yeah, we've made bad signings. Look, the business where we've let players walk away for nothing is an absolute joke. And again, that's why I'm saying Rudkin needs to leave and has needed to leave for a long time. And I am in that boat. I'm just not on the boat that Top needs to go, and I'm not in the boat that Rude needs to go just yet. I'm a younger fan, so I've never really experienced being in a mid-table championship League One, so the normal for me really was win the league. You jammy git. Trust me, you've missed the best times ever, mate. Old Leicester was amazing. I think we'd accept it more as if the club showed transparency and spoke to his fans on the... Do you know what, mate? That is literally... beautiful, Greg. That is... Honestly, mate, that comment there, mate, seriously... If there was more transparency from the club to let us know what's going on, to let us know what's happening, to give us insight, we'd be able to understand and speak to them on a human level. Because Top had always said, and his dad had always said, it's a family club. We'd always had a connection with the community, and we haven't got that at the minute. Top prefers big name managers over good managers. I'd say Steve Cooper was neither. Enzo Maresca was neither. But I know what you mean. I think maybe the Ruud van Nistelrooy maybe had a bit more of a sparkle effect because obviously he was a Premier League legend. So yeah, I'd agree with that one. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Big up there, Locks. Big up. Get involved in the chat, good sir. After winning the Prem, we could have signed Haaland, but Ranieri said he wasn't ready. If that's true, who's going to fly out and we'll do a manhunt for him? Because, like, I'm not being funny. That would have been amazing. Probs why I love countering or being a shit. Yeah, hashtag the fearless tag should be banned. Yeah, to be fair, it shouldn't be the fearless. It should be the complete... Finish your dinner. Hashtag can't even finish your dinner. Hashtag can't hit a barn door. That's probably what it should change to at the minute. I don't know why we didn't get a massive confidence boost when we didn't get PSR. Instead, we lost to Palace. I think what I take from this LCFC forever is that Ruud van Nistelrooy has actually said, and I love watching his press conferences. Honestly, I'm slightly obsessed with the bloke. I love how he breaks things down. He has had time to train with the players and had training with the players, and they're building to something. So he was like, I'm excited to show what we've learned, what we've been able to do and everything else. And again, Ruud can put the plans out. And do you know what? The Palace game, first half, we looked absolutely beautiful. Can anyone here agree with me on that? The first half at Palace, we looked absolutely magic. Bilal El Khanous, amazing. You know, all these chances, putting fucking chances on a plate for Jamie Vardy and other people to have pot shots and stuff. And it was... On another day, we'd be up 2-3-0 if half of those chances had been on target and had gone in. So I don't think it's fair to criticise Ruud on that regard. But I know what you're saying, bud. I know what you're saying. We should have had a massive confidence boost, in my opinion. Best experience by far was the UCL night. Oh, mate. I loved it. I did. I loved it. I loved it when we had Spartak Moscow as well, and they lit the flare over. I've still got the video on my phone. I loved it. I was old enough to realise that when I wasn't going to last forever. Though my first game, I remember. Whee! Well, there you go then. Problem is we're too scared to do any transfer business, whether it's incomings or outgoings, and it showed in the season we got relegated. I just feel there's so many dead ties to the club at the minute. You know, we've still got Danny Ward on the books. We've still got Daniel Everson on the books. That's 60 grand. Jamie Vardy needs to retire, I feel, at the end of this season. I love Jamie Vardy and his talisman. I feel like I have to say that before people jump down my throat and stab me. But Jamie Vardy, for me, he just needs to retire and be a legend of Leicester City and have a lovely statue made outside to him, and we'll give him an amazing send-off, and I'm sure we can have him in the backroom staff as a coach for strikers or whatever. But we need to move on from Jamie Vardy now. We need to have a new number 9, and I know that's hard to hear, but at least we need to be trying to find someone to take the reins and drag this club forward. You know, we need to have that. But I agree. We do struggle. How old was Haaland then? Yeah, that's a good point, actually. How old was he? We could have signed him for 4 million. Bastard. That's mental, that is, man, if we could have done that. The trouble is, does they lose focus too easy? Do you know what? I agree. When the games we've been to this season under Rude, West Ham was an amazing game because it was just nice just to get the win, and the performance was a good full 90 minutes. Cast your minds back, everybody. Cast your minds back to when we had Steve Cooper. We were a side of. I know it's going to be a bit of a nightmare to cast your mind back to when we had Steve Cooper, but let's just, just brave it out. Grab yourself a blanket and be brave. We didn't have a good 45 minutes in us sometimes. And we were like, we just want a full performance. We just want a full performance. And now we've actually started to get good performances. It's just getting the points on the board. But there's no easy game in the Prem anymore, guys, apart from Southampton and Leicester. But we can't play ourselves, and we can't play Southampton. And let's be honest, and let's just have this right here, right? I will judge Ruud van Nistelrooy when we play other teams that we played under Steve Cooper. When we had Steve Cooper, we lost to Palace. We had the lead at Palace, okay? We've lost there, okay? Yeah, we got a lot of Cooper with 2 wins, Scrap Air 1-0. Well, yeah, exactly. I'll get onto that comment in a minute. This is it. Agreed, Daz, about the GOAT. Yeah, look, I love Jamie Vardy. I really do, but he needs to sort his shit out, man. He's either competent enough to do it and demand 120 grand a week for it. Whether he's a legend of the club or not, it's money that we're having to pay and money that we're not allowed to use. 120 grand a week is what? Fucking £6 million a year on wages. Like, I'm sorry, man. Like, we could buy 2 or 3 players with that. Abdul Fatawu, Madsen Manson, and Steffi Mabadidi are on 10 grand a week. Jamie Vardy's on 12 times as much money as them. I'm sorry. Like, yeah, I love him, but something needs to change. He either needs to pull his finger out and fucking get on form again, or we need to move on. I'm sorry. I do get frustrated with him. Yeah. I agree. I think for me, this if with what time we've got left, because it does roll into February, this transfer window, I actually think that a centre back. I know a striker is obviously what we're talking about, but I think that'll be one for the summer. I've got to be honest with you. We do have players that can score goals. I think our biggest problem is transition. I genuinely do think that. I feel that our forward players aren't going forward enough unison. So like our Samare and Winks and stuff, they're not really pushing forward as much as they could because they're shitting themselves that they've got to run back and defend on the breakaway. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So I feel if we do have a solid back line and we get Mads back as soon as possible, then we should be sound. But we definitely need a centre-back or 2 centre-backs for me. This new right-back, guys, before I get on to anyone else in the comments, this new right-back that we've got, he looks the fucking business. That's all I'm going to say. He looks the business. That's it. He looks the business. PSR is Rectors. Why is it Rectors more than anyone else? It's because our wage bill, big man. So our wage bill, we were the only club in the history of the Premier League to get relegated with a wage bill of nearly £200 million. That's why it's fucked us right up the arse. It's not a fun time being a Leicester City player or a supporter during those times. We had James Maddison, Yuri Tielemans, Jamie Vardy was on 160 grand a year, if I'm not mistaken, back then. I'll have to go check it out, but I think it was about 160. Yuri Tielemans was nearly 90 or 100k. Kasper Schmeichel was 100k. We had a lot of a lot of highly paid players. Say that 10 times fast. Vodka's come out, mate. I did make myself a cup of tea, but it's gone cold, so I can't have that yet. Enjoy, indeed. Cannon could be the Vardy replacement, but I don't know if he's done wrong because it's 3 managers who didn't fancy him. I'll be honest, scam eggs. I'll be honest, mate. I genuinely agree with this. I think it's Cannon was signed to be the Vardy replacement or in case of injury. So when Daka was out and when Vardy was out, Cannon did start, and Cannon was playing and was doing really well and looked really sharp in the Championship. He was a young talent, and I feel that, given time, he would be one to do. But this is the problem. It's time. So time is, can we find a buyer for players that we don't really need to utilize, like Daka? I don't think anyone would come in for Daka and pay his wages, because Daka needs to agree to leave, by the way. So Daka, he needs to agree to leave. We can't just force him out the door. He needs to agree to leave. And if no one's going to match his wages, he's going to be like, nah, bollocks, man, I ain't going anywhere. So Tom Cannon, unfortunately, obviously wants first team game time, which they can give him. He's probably going to get a wage bump, which they'll give him. And we obviously need the money now to invest into other sides. So it's just a bit, it's a bit frustrating. I do agree though. I think it's genuinely like, yeah, that's exactly it. That is exactly it. Cooper got 2 wins, a scrappy one against Bournemouth and a late 3-2 winner against Southampton because of Fatu. Exactly that. And that's what I'm trying to say. I don't want to be where we're relying on individual moments of brilliance. I want us to be good as a team. So I just think it's Ruud van Nistelrooy just got to keep polishing this turd, and hopefully we actually, get it sorted. They need to wake up and drop it. Keep saying get full, but they need to wake up if we drop and get. Keep saying this, we get full next season. No, I agree. Look, next season, if we go down, boys, we're getting bummed, and not in a nice way. Like, they'll go in dry. It won't be nice. I hope we just announced a centre-back, unexpected and rapid, not long left in the window, have to spend to stay up. I think there's 2 weeks left in the window because it does roll into February. They were saying on the Transfer Live show. So I think there's a bit of time left. The top teams love it if we can only pay low wages. Exactly. The top teams love it because, like I say, they can, for argument's sake, and I hope this don't happen because, again, his injury, I'm hoping it puts people off. And I think the same with Fatu. I hope it puts people off because, again, if he's been injured, we paid 17 million for him. So we're under no obligation to sell for Tarwood, but we paid 7.5 million for Madsen Manson, or 6.5 million, whatever it was. So, he's a very good asset. But yeah, they'll just come into him and say, look, we'll give you 50 grand, 60 grand a week. He's going to be like, yeah, see you in a bit. I'm off. Priority is a centre-back. A lone striker could be the answer, in my opinion. There's been a lot of talk about Leipzig's Andre Silva on loan. Yes, I did see that, LCFC Forever. I did see that, mate. My only issue is Edouard needs to get called back. We can't send him back. Crystal Palace have to recall him. Our back four worst in the Prem. It's fucking close, mate. The problem is our defense isn't great. And our attack is old. Our striker is old. It's almost like everybody else is scared to have a shot at the minute, and I don't know why. New right back looks mental, does don't know. I'm expecting mistakes, but I think it'll be really fun to watch. Do you know what, mate? Watching him, how fast he is. He's very explosive. He reminds me of El Canoes as well with his passing plays. So we'll do like quick tippy passing, like, the triangle passing that Ruud's trying to implement as you move up the pitch. He does that naturally. So I think Ruud, again, has taken a very David Moyes approach to the transfers, which I really do enjoy. Ruud is actively involved in the transfers. So he is going to the guys. These are the type of players that we want. He's gone and used his network of people to ask about reviews of this guy. What more do you want from a manager? Do you know what I mean? He's picking the right players for the job. I think we're gonna be all right, even given these results. Yeah, we're still giving Champions League worth wages to Championship quality players. Bro, seriously, scam eggs. Danny Ward doesn't deserve to be in national football. I think he can make a cameo appearance for Wrexham, but I don't want him anywhere near our club. I want him out. He's an absolute disgrace. Mentally bad. We're going to watch anything from him. he's really good, mate. He's really good. I'd keep Cannon and sell Daka. But the problem is, mate, it's supply and demand. People don't want Daka, but Championship clubs will want Cannon because he's scored goals at a struggling Stoke side. So they're like, fucking yeah, we'll have a bit of that. He'll sort us right out. And obviously we'll sell him because he's not in favour at Leicester, which is a right shame at the minute, obviously. He developed at Real Madrid. I didn't know that. So that's really good, actually. he looks a really promising player. I really do like the look of him. He's very quick, very skillful, can play both feet and can play on both sides. But because it's erratic, he makes mistakes. Yeah, absolutely. But I'd rather him try something progressively than just not try anything at all. Like give up, just like throw his arms in the air and just like just leave it, or like just stop running off. This guy looks really, really good. Yeah, highly attacking though, which Rude loves in 1-4 back. Exactly. So it interchanges. So whichever side's progressing the ball and how the attackers move, it'll be like, Christensen will push up one way, so then Justin stays back, or vice versa. So, and obviously they can make the underlapping or overlapping runs depending on obviously if the wing is out or inside. So maybe if Ricardo comes back, Wellier plays left back and Ricardo right back. He did say he plays left back or right back, so that's really good. Either way, he's confident. It will just mean obviously, when he receives a pass, he'll obviously have to face another way, so to speak, to play it out, which is it's not a problem. But yeah, he could do that. Begging someone signs Edouard from Palace so he's called back, saves money on the rest of his contract, so it's a win for us. It's a massive win for us if somebody does that. Let's have a little look. Later in the season, I thought I got Ricardo's couple. I've just seen a couple of bits of the God go. Hold on there, sorry. Got to go down and chat off now down the pub. See you later, mate. Nice, thanks for coming. See you in a bit, dude. Where was I? Yeah. Later in the season, though, I know Ricardo's out for a couple more months. Yeah, Ricky P's out for a few more months. I think Fatawu's out for a few more months. I don't know. I'm hoping it's not all season, but you don't want to rush him back, the poor sod. Really are missing players like that. We just need to start getting people back for me. Is it worth having a billionaire owner like us if you can't spend any money? I may as well be a chairman. This is the point, mate. You look at Newcastle United. You look at Newcastle United, mate. It's dire. They are literally the richest thing in the entire world, and they have to sell players before they can buy it. It's ridiculous. Yeah. I think it's entirely possible if he takes his time. Tamworth keeper versus Spurs was miles clear of Danny Ward. Danny Ward is a joke to the game. It's as simple as that. I don't think he's a serious keeper at all. I don't like Danny Ward. Hate Danny Ward, in fact. 40 grand a week and fuck off. Big positive out to his. Yeah. Do you know what? Honestly, mate, I'll celebrate whether we're in the Championship or if we're in the Premier League because Danny Ward's contract is up. I will just celebrate anyway because I think he's a bellend and I just don't like him at all. Don't like the person. He's a dick. Said bye anyway there, but I'll say it again. Great. Enjoy the pub chat. Later, bye. Fatu out for a season. Well, we can all cry together then, can't we, really? Because I think that's what's going to be a problem. I'd love Leicester to give Luke Thomas some training as a right back. I'd like to see it. Oh, God, he scared me then. I'd like to see some of our academy players coming through, but the problem is Rude needs guaranteed points. And obviously he sees them in training every day and he has a plan and they have to go off the last couple of games and how they've played and where they can exploit things, and they'll pick players based on those bits and bobs. So hopefully Luke Thomas is given a go, but I have heard whispers he might be going as well because there's a couple of Championship clubs that might be interested in him. It's a shame we signed Skip, Daz, mate. Could have done with proper destroyer CDM like Wilfred indeed he is to help the defence as well as up top. Do you know what, mate? Genuinely, Oliver Skip, for me, I think he's going to be up against it anyway because £25 million Spurs have had us bent over a barrel, mate, and it's a lot of money anyway. I think 15 million would have been a bit much, to be fair. 10 might have been about right for him, but 25, they've absolutely pulled the pants down. So the fans and everybody are not going to get behind him as easy because he's cost an absolute fortune, which means I think we paid more for Skip than we did Bilal El Khanous because I think El Khanous was euros, not pounds. So yeah. And El Khanous is a monster, by the way. I love El Khanous. Fatawi's out for the rest of the season. Ricardo should be back within 6 to 8 weeks. Okay. Well, I mean, look, I can deal with Ricky P coming back. I really do miss Fatawu. If we do go down next season, a lot of the academy players coming through and Fatawu and like maybe Monga, players like that Rude knows about. Prem's too much for him. We don't want to bring him into the Prem and get the confidence down. Prove yourselves this season. Should we go down next season, you guys will be playing Championship football. We've got a right back coming through. I think he's in League One. I forgot his fucking name. That's going to drive me around the bend. But he looks amazing. I don't want to read this one out, but I will just for the giggles. Breaking news. Danny Ward signs 1-year contract extension. Breaking news. Daryl goes and finds all of his tops, burns them all, and supports another club. And I'm not even joking. I would genuinely do that, because if they sign that, bro, I'm if they give that guy a contract extension, I'm burning all my tops and I'm supporting someone else. Yeah, exactly. Any centre backs you'd like to see come an idea, mate? My knowledge ain't great what it used to be. Good young centre backs. Who is? I'd go for Sunderland's centre back. Let me just get his name up. Is it Taylor Harwood-Bellis? I think it's him. I think it's Taylor Harwood-Bellis. Yes. I think it is Taylor Harwood-Bellis. No? Nah, I'm talking shit. No, I'm not talking shit. No, I'm definitely not talking shit. No, I'm not. Yeah. Southampton's. Thank you very much, Greg. Yes. So see, my knowledge ain't as amazing what it used to be, mate. My head just goes. But yeah, keeping it within there. I'd have the Saints centre back personally. Taylor Harwood-Bellis. Saints are down. They know that other clubs are probably going to come in for him. So I'd have him personally. Unknown one, Vanja Drusic. Don't know why, but remember him playing for Portugal in the Euros. Now that attack to a 0-0. I mean, Euros is a perfect ground for people to try and find other players. So no, I think that's pretty good. Don't think Rude will last till the end of the season, do you? We're not sacking Rude. It's not happening. If we sack Ruud van Nistelrooy after giving him another 2.5-year contract on top of what Steve Cooper had already given, this club will be in the shit anyway. So it's just not going to happen. Ruud van Nistelrooy will stay in this club even if we get relegated. If he leaves, it'll be because he wants to leave, and we won't have to pay him an exit fee because it will be mutual consent. That's the only way that he'll leave, is if it's mutual consent. And that's if he doesn't want a job in the Championship, which for me, if Ruud van Nistelrooy is putting this much effort in to try and keep us up in the Premier League and everything else, if we go down with Ruud, I feel that he'll say it depends, doesn't it? Because we don't know what sanctions are going to come our way. We don't know anything. So Ruud did say things when we were getting this Koulibaly guy. When we signed that Koulibaly guy, he was saying that he wants to make the right substitutions because he feels obligated to get the right players in for the longevity of the club. So for me, it sounds like Ruud van Nistelrooy's here for the long haul, or he wants to be here for the long haul. So that's what I want. I think he's old, could be. Saints, yeah, I think the Saints centre-back could be a really good buy. But again, I think Taylor Harwood-Bellis is going to be an absolute nightmare for us to try and pry away from Southampton. I think we should have loaned in Callum Doyle for the season because he can play centre. But you know what? We should have just bought Callum Doyle, quite frankly. I rated Callum Doyle. Could have had him left-back, centre-back, whatever. He's young, he's quick, he's tall, he's strong. I'd have had him. It can't be any fucking worse than what we've got. So I agree. Always sort of want us to get a left-footed centre-back, to be honest. Yeah, no, I agree. Left-footed centre-back, yeah. Is that Silva the lad that signed for Wolves a few years back, or is it a bigger Portuguese lad that was on fire in Germany? I think he was on fire in Germany for a couple of seasons, mate. Yeah, Wolves signed David Silva or whatever his Sylvia, whatever his name, I don't know. But yeah, I think it's the other guy. Rudkin out. What a snail in the market. Mate, to be fair, and I'm not sticking up for him here because he's an absolute knob and I hate him. But Leicester, I do feel that Ruud has said he wants to get the right players in, and the right players being right price, right profile, right mentality. The players coming in need to be ready to work their bollocks off, not just pull out of runs halfway down the line. Mentioned earlier, plays for. Oh, okay. Yeah, he won't come to us, mate, to go play fucking Stoke City on a Saturday night, would he? Let's be fair. Why we buy centre back from a defence worse than us? We did that with Vestergaard. No, see, Taylor Harwood-Bellis was from Man City, mate, and it's the same thing with Aaron Ramsdale. I don't know why the hell Aaron Ramsdale went to Southampton. I don't know why the hell Taylor Harwood-Bellis went to Southampton. I think it's a joke, quite frankly. But you can have good players in a shit defence. I mean, I'm not going to say obviously because I can't really think of any at the minute. But who's that other right back that Southampton's got that refuses to sign a new contract because he wants to leave? Kyle Walker-Peters. He's a decent player. Kyle Walker-Peters is a good player in their defence. We could have had him, but I don't know. I don't know why we didn't. Young and quick, yeah. Opposite to Yannick. Yannick moves like a truck. Yannick like a fucking lamppost doing a fucking hopscotch. Terrible. I'll be looking at top talents in the Championship, and that for me is where I think it needs to be. It needs to be like you're never gonna pry away people in the Championship like from Sheffield United or Sunderland or places like that because they've got the promise of progression. You've never got progression. Okay, so I mean, they've got progression there. We want to go to clubs that are like, there's kids overperforming at like Millwall or a couple of places like that. You know, you want to rescue them from where they are. While in the Prem could really exploit that market. I agree, Greg. Like I said, I actually agree with that. I think it's a good idea. Some teams just have pieces of quality like us a bit. Yeah, pieces of quality doesn't mean that they're a quality team. So like, for argument's sake, Southampton striker Adam Armstrong, shite. Yeah, their midfield, whatever. They've got a couple of good players, one defender, really good goalkeeper, and they've got that other, I can't remember his bloody name. They've got one good player, Dibbling. They've got Dibbler. He's a fantastic player. Everyone else is dog shit. I don't think Ruud's happy here. He's never looked happy. Honestly, mate, I just think it's a Netherlands thing. Genuinely, he's just. He has a joke and a smile, but he's not overly this. I think he's quite a serious person, which is good. You know, I don't want someone to be like fucking Steve Cooper who's laughing and joking with everyone, trying to be the friend. But it is what it is. We've had a few weeks since Ruud's come to pick these players. In my opinion, we've been once again ignorant to reality. The hierarchy are blind to the issue, it seems. Yeah, I think for me, Chester, what I would say, genuinely, what I would say about Ruud and about this situation is Ruud van Nistelrooy is putting a lot of his eggs in a basket. So he's obviously managed PSV. He was then called at Man United, and then we've come calling. There was a lot of other job opportunities that he could have gone for, but he came to Leicester City, probably because of the price we were going to pay him and the promise that we had for him. I don't know. But he's had opportunities to go everywhere else. He's putting a lot of his links, his time and effort into finding the right players for Leicester. So you could rush in and buy a centre-back or rush in and buy a right-back. But if it's not the right one, it makes no sense. Ruud he said he feels like he has an obligation to get the right players in at the right price and the right mentality, and that takes time. He said, but they're doing it day in, day out, day in, day out. He wouldn't have signed for this club, or he would walk. He walked out of PSV because the board weren't being good to him. So I think the last thing this board's going to do is be shit to Ruud. Believe me, I don't think he will. Norwich have that decent winger at the moment. It's on fire, don't they? He's top goal scorer in the Championship, can play on both sides and at 10. Let me double check that, mate. Let me just double check. Ruud would prefer to be somewhere else. Ruud would not prefer to be somewhere else. Ruud knows what Leicester City is as a symbol, and if we go down, he'll do his best to bring us back up, in my opinion. I think he is a Cobb fan in disguise. Or just not a Ruud fan. Both. If both, we'll see him next season at this rate. Ruud is having second thoughts. I don't think he is having second thoughts, chap. I think he's just going, Jesus, wet, man. Come on, let me get my boots on. I'll bloody score some bleeding goals. Because I'll tell you something now, I reckon Ruud will bloody score more goals than we are at the minute. It's a fucking joke. Our manager may as well be on the bleeding substitutes or a starting lineup. Maybe Ruud and bloody Vardy can swap places for a game. Cov away again, though. Yeah, yeah. But what you've got to remember is as well. What you've got to remember is as well. Let's have this right. You remember when Enzo took over and it was his first game at Cov. Yeah. Who won that game? It weren't Enzo Maresca that won that first game. Yeah. It weren't Enzo Maresca that won that game. It was Keane and Dewsbury Hall that won that game. Individual moments of brilliance. That could have been a right shit start to the season if he didn't have good players carrying Enzo. And we can play him on the right wing. We could play him on the right wing, but if Norwich know they've got a good player, then they'll probably ask in excess of 15, 20 million. Just like Leeds. Leeds aren't stupid. Leeds have offloaded Archie Gray and Jorginho Rutter. They've got Wilfred Nonto as well, Crescencio Somerville, all these players that they've obviously got rid of last season. They had decent amount of money for them. So I think the problem is, mate, I think they probably just go, well, if you want him, you're going to have to give us a silly offer. I agree with you, but we've now missed 2 crucial matches at home without the signs we need. That's cost us. And I agree with you, big man. I agree with you. Honestly, mate, I absolutely agree with you. The problem is the 2 crucial matches is, like Rude says, the performance wasn't good enough. And that's down to the players. It's not down to Rude, that's down to the players. Doc is the type of melt that sat in his chair in his basement trying to wind you all over. It's all good for a bit of banter. We like a bit of banter. Chester, true, maybe that's a lot. Yeah, we do have a lot of winnable games, and this is the thing, guys. It's not over yet. It's not over till the fat lady sings, and at the end of the day, we need to just calm down a bit. We're playing Tottenham. They're a shambles at the minute. We're playing Everton. They're a shambles at the minute. Crystal Palace and Fulham have been in really good form as of late. So I wasn't expecting us to win. It would have been nice for us to win, but, you know, it's one of them, innit? It's never going to. Exactly this, Chester Leicester. Saints will cost us like 20 million considering the club have reached PSR for the million at the time. We'll only spend that if we sell. Cannon will go. My words, Cannon will go. It's what Rude wants to have. Right, this is how much money you've got, Rude. What player do you want? Do you want 2 players or 1 player? If you want 1 player, which player is it? He needs to make that decision along with the board. But obviously, Rude will have the final say because he's the manager and he knows what he needs. No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I am concerned. I am very concerned. I'm not concerned about. I'm not concerned about Rude though. I am concerned that we're not picking up points at home. I will share that. I'm annoyed that we're not picking up points at home. But at the end of the day, the only thing I can say, guys, is that we're not the only team in the bottom 5 that are losing games. Yeah. Everton are losing games. Wolves are losing games. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff going on at the minute, and I think we'll be all right, guys. I think. Let's have a look. We have a lot of winnable games, but we've also lost many winnable games too. We need more signings. No, I agree. I agree. You know, for me, the winnable games are against the bottom 5. That's it. The winnable games that are against the bottom 5. And the last 5 or 6 games of the season are against the bottom 5. We've got, let me just pull this over here so I can have a look. Leicester City matches. Right. So we all get to cry again next week when we go away to Tottenham. But then we've got Everton, who are horrific at the minute. And they've got David Moyes in there. Who do they play in between? I'll check that in a minute. So here we go. So these are all the away games, guys. Let's get into it. So Tottenham. In fact, can I share my screen? This one. Whee! Look at me doing technology. Here we are. Okay, so technology, guys. I am awesome. So hold on. Let me just. What's going on? No. My head. What the hell? Forehead? No. Sort your life out. No. Right, that one. That's better. It's fine. It's fine. So let's just get rid of this comment for a quick time. Okay, right. So let's go through it with me, guys. So look, we've got Tottenham away, Everton away, and Manchester United in the FA Cup. Okay, so Tottenham, I don't really see us getting more than that. Everton is the one that I think we might get something. Manchester United, I couldn't give a crap about this game. I've got to be honest, mate. I think I really don't care about that. Arsenal at home, Brentford at home. Again, two top teams. I'm expecting nothing from them. West Ham away, huge game. Huge game. Huge game. West Ham. This game is massive. So that's one game that I think we're going to win. Okay. Chelsea, I'm not bothered about Chelsea. Man United again, that's at home. I'm not that bothered. They're not amazing, Man United. I don't think it's impossible. Man City again, I don't think it's an impossible game. Newcastle, don't bother. Brighton, we did draw against them there. They're not too terrible. It's these games here, boys. So these run of games here from the 1st of February all the way down to the 25th of May. These are the games that we should be fixating and focusing on. So it should be Brighton, Liverpool, Wolves, Southampton, Forest, Ipswich, and Bournemouth. If we can beat West Ham, that's 3. Beat Wolves, that's 6. Beat Southampton, that's 9. Beat Ipswich, that's 12. And maybe draw with Bournemouth, that's 13. And we're on 14. That's 27 points. Maybe. It's not enough. I get it. I get it. It's not enough. But it depends solely on what other teams do. Because if we're winning against Ipswich and we're winning against Everton, for argument's sake, who I didn't even mention, by the way, but if we're winning against the other teams in and around us, it's enough to shove them up. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's have a look at Everton. So Everton's got Newcastle on the last day of the season. Good luck with that. Everton versus Southampton. Everyone's 3 points against Southampton at the minute. Fulham will destroy Everton. Everton and Ipswich is a very big game because obviously, you know, we'd ideally like a draw there. But they've got a horrific end to the season, Everton have. Jesus, wept. Chelsea, Fulham, fucking Man City. Everton, I think Everton are down, you know. I'm sorry, boys. I'm really sorry. Just take a look at this with me for a second here. Just have a look at this. I know everyone's sat here going, oh, it's all negative. But let's just try and be positive for a second. Look at this. I'd rather have our end to the season and our remaining games left. Fuck me, man. Everton have got Tottenham tomorrow, Brighton, Leicester, Liverpool, Palace, Man United, Brentford. Wolves is probably the lowest level that they're going to play in that span. Then they've got West Ham, Liverpool again, Arsenal, Forest, Man City, Chelsea. Fucking Nora. I'm sorry, like, I think Everton have got a really bad run of games. I think Everton might be in the mud. And what about Ipswich? Because I know Ipswich are really putting the pressure on us. So Ipswich at the minute, right? Man City tomorrow. I hope Man City just blow them away. Liverpool again. I hope they blow them away. Southampton, that's a big problem. It's a big problem. Ipswich versus Southampton is a massive problem for us because that's 3 points. And by the time we play that game, I think we've got Man United in the cup, but then we've got Tottenham and Everton. So yeah, I think again, I prefer our end to the season. I'm sorry, like I prefer our end to the season. I don't think it's over by a long shot. RuneScape, no. Yeah. So I agree. I do think that there's a lot of worse. There's a lot of teams out there that've got a better side than us, but I don't really care. I don't think look at Wolves losing their shit. Wolves will fight with each other. Wolves will pull glasses off people. I think it's a bit of a joke. And I agree. I do agree about investment. Let's get back into the comments, guys, because I did go off on a bit of a tangent here. Where did we get up to? Yeah. So that run of games, not great, but not a lot of people have also got good run of games. Everton and Ipswich have not got good games left. They've played a lot of their easier games. It's the head-to-heads that I'm going to be worried about. We need to beat Ipswich. We need to beat Wolves now. We need to beat Everton now to get out of this shit. If we can't beat the teams around us, we are down. There's no question about it. That's not enough. I agree. It wouldn't be enough, but we can only get what's in front of us. That's me being optimistic too. Yeah. We need 20 points at least. I'd say so. I'd say 20 points is a good ground to have, which would mean, 6 or 7 wins coming through. We do have Everton. Ange Postecoglou plays his way and his way alone and struggled against a National League team the other day. So, I don't think it's impossible for us to go away to Tottenham, put a performance on and fucking win. 12 being optimistic. Yeah. Or really optimistic. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. We need to roughly have an average of about 2 points a game to roughly stay up, give or take. So we need a few. The minimum to survive might be a bit lower. Yeah, I agree. We need 30 points to stay up. Everton always pull up. Strange results they'd expect to lose. Exactly. But that was when they had Sean Dyche, who made them hard to play against. David Moyes is going to try everything that he can to try and get goals in the back of the net. And if they try to just get goals in the back of the net, they'll forget. And then obviously they'll concede and they're just shit anyway. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's worse than Varda. Moyes will have Everton clicking by the time they're players and they'll kick on, especially at home. I hope not. They've got a better side. Again, I don't see that, mate. I'll be honest. They've got 1 or 2 decent players, but I don't think they have. They've invested fuck all in that team. I rate our team over Everton at the minute. Wolves, I do think Wolves have a good team. Ait Nouri, Cunha's just signed a new fucking contract. Wang Hee-chan, good team. Investment is needed. Everton never get relegated. When was the last time? But this is all because of Sean Dyche, guys. This is all because of Sean Dyche, and Dyche ain't there anymore. You've now got Moyes there. And everyone says Moyes is a safe pair of hands. But again, he had a West Ham team that was a very good team, and he was getting them close to relegation fighting. So that's why he got sacked. Fact is, lads, I don't think it's as crystal clear as everyone makes it out to be. Potter is a knob, and I hope he goes down. Easy running, but need investment now. Yeah, absolutely. We can't look at the games on paper and say Everton will lose to Spurs, West Ham, etc. They'll pick up draws and maybe a shot win. They're too unpredictable. In recent times, I'd agree with you. In recent times, or in past times, sorry, I should say, I actually agree with you. I think Everton are like one of those teams where they get a draw at like bloody Arsenal and stuff. But they're only 1 or 2 points away from us with these dodgy little draws. That's it. That's literally it, mate. 1 or 2 points. That's it. It's not. There's nothing in it. One or 2 wins on our side of things, we get out of it. At the end of the day, we all play the same teams, just in different order. Exactly. And it's all about the times that you play them and what they're going through. David Moyes has just been appointed. Graham Potter has just been appointed. They're going to try and get their philosophy across. And the mistakes get made when managers try to put their points and philosophies across. That's it. So, like Potter got a really good reaction from West Ham when they won his first game back. He was like, oh, yeah, it was really stressful. And they nearly blew that, didn't they? So it's hilarious. But now he's lost a game. Everyone, oh, fuck's sake. Great Escape 2.0. Yeah, we need it. Start the chance. Fans would get on side more if Rudkin got pushed away from Leicester and we bring in what we need. The thing is, and I agree with this, sometimes all a club needs is a little bit of good news. Just any good news. I thought the PSR would have cheered us all up and would have gone, oh, thank God, we've escaped PSR. But no, everyone just starts being a shit ass about it. But the fact is, I wish I could believe in Rude. I do believe in Rude, though. Genuinely, mate, I believe in Rude. I'll die on the hill that I believe in Rude. I I don't really care if people don't like Rude. I don't care if people think he's a has-been. I really didn't give a monkeys, quite frankly. Ruud van Nistelrooy has done it in other leagues, and he did it where Cody Gakpo got sold, Xavi Simons got sold, and he left his position. He's coached Manchester United. He's done these things. You know, at the end of the day, he's better than fucking Steve Cooper, and he would have been better than anyone else that we were going to bring in. We've signed him on a 2.5-year contract. We just need to just get behind him and keep doing it. A manager can only take his horses to the water to get them to drink. He can't force the water down the throats. He can force his style of play on them. Bilal El Khanous, Steffi Mavididi, a couple of the other players are really taking it on board. Vardy as well is also taking it on board. He's not another Rooney, mate. I've just seen that. Yeah, he's definitely not another Rooney. Rooney's a knob. Just need them to speak to the fans. Oh, do you know what? I just want a little bit of clarity from the board about what's going on with financial things and all that sort of stuff instead of trying to hide behind it all. I agree with you on that, mate. I really do. I hope Rooney isn't another Rooney. Rooney's a div. Rooney's an absolute div. He has sex with grandmas, for crying out loud. Like, look, Ruud van Nistelrooy's got nounce about him. He's got an aura about him. He speaks really well. He knows what he wants from his players. He knows what's acceptable. He knows what's not acceptable. And I like a manager like that will take control. Steve Cooper just used to spurt the same old crap. Yeah, well, we know this. Yeah, we know that. But nothing ever changed. Whereas Ruud van Nistelrooy is literally saying, it's not good enough. We need to do better. That's it. We need to build, and I've just seen a comment here that I'm in full agreement with, but I'll jump to that one quickly. Fatu on crutches. Yeah, he's all right. Fatu was on the gym bike yesterday, so he was loving life. And even if we get relegated, we should still keep Ruud, and he's way better than Steve Cooper. Just Cooper got lucky with his first 2 wins. At the end of the day, we never should have beat Bournemouth. Bournemouth were peppering our goal at the end of that game, and we never should have beat them. And the reason that we won at Southampton is because of Southampton being utter crap, and we brought Fatu on, and Fatu went down there and assisted the goals. And then obviously Jordan Ayew toe poked it in at the near post, and Ramsdale's crap. That's the only reason that we won against Southampton. Seriously, it's a joke. If you actually watch the games back, it's an absolute joke. Ruud van Nistelrooy, for me, deserves a full season, whether that's in the Championship or the Premier League. He's only had half a season. He's had no pre-season. He's not brought in. He's brought in one signing that he's had some say to. Now, if we go down to the Championship and we are transfer embargoed and we're this and we're that and we're the other, it's bare bones, mate. It's bare bones. So Ruud will have to start utilising players, which he's already mentioned, by the way. He's already mentioned players like Monga from the academy, that young, amazing talent. He's already mentioned him. He's already got Will Alves. He wants to utilise Will Alves and keep an eye on his progress and stuff. I don't know if he's sending him out on loan or not. Bit of a criminal act, but there we go. It's hard. It's hard. End of the day, Daz, I'm as negative as they come, but Ruud has been fucked the shit he's dealing with. The footy ain't bad at times, just left down with a lack of defence and so. Yeah, look, and I'm in full agreement with you, mate. We all as fans want the best for this club. There is no question about that. Okay, my biggest gripe is when it's unfair criticism. That's my biggest gripe. I don't like unfair criticism, and I agree with what you're saying. Ruud is being fucked by everybody else but himself. Ruud can set a team up. Ruud can have the right tactics. He can do this. He can do that. The first half against Palace was beautiful football. Beautiful, beautiful football. It's just that people couldn't fucking hit a barn door. You know, it's no one else's fault but theirs. So I think it's too early to be saying Ruud out. Rudkin out chants are nothing new at the King Power Stadium. They happen every fucking game, whether we win 6-0 or not. You know, it's the only time. To be fair, when we win a game, no one ever sings Rudkin out. Ever. Never in my life. Sitting in the Weller Lounge, I can't hear anything, mate. There's no Ruud out, none of this, none of that. That's it. There's none of that. It's when we lose a game and we're looking for someone to blame, it's just like, oh, the same old crap comes out. I think Rudkin does need to go. Rudkin's a dick, and Whelan needs to go. Top needs to have a new board put into place at the end of the day. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. Heads do drop, mate. Heads drop very quickly. But that's just because, again, the attack will go through, but then maybe Rue's gone, well, actually, we need to shore up the defense a bit. We've conceded goals in every game, to a minimum of 2 goals. Top has his pockets sewn up. I think we backed Steve Cooper very well in the summer transfer window with signings. We have to spend what we can, unfortunately. But he's trying to make movements. But we're not a big club like Man United. End of the day, the fans were behind the side a lot today, despite Rudkin out chance, etc. So there's somebody getting behind the team. Not gonna lie, we just want them to give a good go. Exactly that, mate. Exactly that. But this is what I'm trying to say. When we lost against Man City, when we lost against Liverpool, the fans were still cheering them on. It's because the fans also then get a false sense of security. If you look at Crystal Palace, they're unbeaten in 7 or 8 games. You look at Fulham, they're top 10. Not even Manchester United, Tottenham Hotspur, teams like that, none of them are even close to top 10 at the minute. So I think it's just us as fans. I mean, I'm fucking saying all this now. When the game was announced, I was like, yeah, we're going to win 3-0 or 3-1. And we get bummed 2-0 and it's like, yeah, great, nice one. Cheers, pal. I'm the first person to be overly optimistic for Leicester City because I want our team to do well. But exactly, yeah, Spurs are 15th for crying out loud. So it's one of them. I sit well, standing cop, and it's lots of fun, but then weekly I just want to see fight and the lads giving it a go. Everyone's entitled to see that, mate. Everyone who spends money or watches it on TV or supports his club deserves and should have a performance from the players, and it should all be left on the pitch. And when it doesn't happen, that's when people are entitled to get pissed off and spout what they need to do. That's what this channel's for. This is what our community's for. Yeah, Spurs are 15th. I'm not that bothered, mate. I think Spurs are Spurs. They're always idiots. They're idiots, but they won't get done. Exactly that. See, this is what I'm saying. This is where all the good comments are coming in now. Spot on, Daz. As soon as you get a good result, the fans will come on board. We're bad as each other. We need Rudkin out chance when winning, but when we need to join, yeah. But this is it. This is it. There needs to be consistency. If you want Rudkin out, get everybody that wants Rudkin out to meet at the King Power Stadium for a week straight. Go up to Seagrave and do protests out the ground. That's how you get Rudkin out. Not singing it when we're losing. It just goes to be like the same thing. But when we're winning, everyone's happy as a mouse and clapping like happy clappers. Table-wise, Spurs are technically a better opponent to play than Palace and Fulham. I agree completely. Palace and Fulham are on some really good form, as I said a minute ago. So you go into Spurs only just managed to win against a fucking National League team. Is a National League team, guys. What winds me up is the lack of people joining in with the atmosphere, but the most vocal when they hear the chants. It is annoying. I must admit, mate. From where we sit in the Weller Lounge, it's just a bunch of snooty blokes and the old boys going, "Kick it up the field" and all that sort of crap. So they're all moaning and stuff unless it's 4-4-2 football where you just oof it up and someone runs on the end of it and gets a goal in the back of the net. But it is what it is, mate. We play Spurs next, and who knows what will happen. Well, to be honest with you, mate, I'm expecting a result. Genuinely, I'm expecting a result because we, under Steve Cooper, we played Spurs and we were lucky. We rode our luck a lot at times, and we had Madsen Manson in goal, but we only lost 2-1. I'm expecting us to maybe get a win or a draw. It'd be nice. Can we find anyone better than Rudkin? That is the question. Absolutely, you can find someone better than Rudkin. I think a blind, deaf, and dog man or a mouse could do a better job than that Pratt. There's a lot of people that could do a better job than Rudkin. You just got to find. I mean, Dan Ashworth's out of work at the minute. You could go and approach him for that. At the minute, one sec. Sorry, that was my daughter just coming in. So yeah, safe standing across the cop, just full of hardcore people like it used to be, and the atmosphere improves. Exactly. Look, the atmosphere is half the battle. If you're doing something and people are cheering you on, you're going to get galvanized and you're going to want to run for it. You know, come on, Leicester, come on, Leicester. We're always behind the boys, all this bullshit. You know, the lads love it. You start booing and all this crap, you're not going to give the players something to fight for. You just like, oh, fuck these guys. It could be either 1-0 Leicester or 5-0 to Spurs. They're so hit and miss. The thing is with Spurs, they're all or nothing. So they will pepper the living shit out of our goal, or they will have a lot of runs in behind and all this sort of stuff. They, you know, Kulusevski, Maddison, again, Jesus Christ. It's one of them. But if we can score first, that's what needs to happen. We need to keep them at bay, score first, and then just hammer the shit out of them. Just get a goal and then just hammer them off, because they're so all or nothing. Yeah, basically, yeah. Anyone that is relatively competent in the knowledge of football could do a better job than Rudkin. Rudkin is a joke. Quite frankly, I could do a better job than Rudkin. In fact, I probably would do a better job than Rudkin. I actually know I'd help out in a lot of areas with Leicester City, but there we go. I could find better players as well. Probably get the deals done halfway across a bit better as well. But there we go. I think a lot of us could do a better job than Rudkin. But guys, I am going to give it a rest there. My throat is a little bit rusty. But any more passing comments before we close the stream? We're going for an hour and a half now, so how Rudkin even got the job? He is best mates with Top, and he does the horse racing side of things, mate, with him. So he like jumped in with Leicester City at that side of things. I'll be honest though, from my experience today, I heard no boos or Rudkin out chance at 0-0. No, but you won't though, bud. You won't. This is the point. You won't. Leicester fans are fickle fuckers at times. Like, seriously, and I don't give a shit. Like, I've been down there, I've heard it. I've heard it all. I've heard it all from time to time. It's like the lads are like, Rudkin out because we're like 2 or 3-0 down or whatever. That's a performance on the players. That's not Rudkin's fault. Rudkin needs to be held accountable for what Rudkin is to be held accountable for. Lack of transfers, lack of this, lack of that, lack of the other, you know, like slow process, moving things, not letting players leave on free contracts. They're the sort of things that Rudkin should be held accountable for. We shouldn't sing Rudkin out when we're losing a game of football. We should be Rudkin out at the King Power training ground or outside the King Power, or sign a petition to get Rudkin and Whelan out of the club. You know, these sort of things will do it. You know, I'm the first person to shout abuse at people when I've had a few, and it's not going the right way. But you know, it's reaction. It's reactive. It's never gonna go. It's never gonna end well. So it's one of them. It's one of them, guys. Spot on that, as per with your opinion on Rudkin is so spot on. Should be Rudkin out before game. Yeah, it's one of those things, guys. I just feel that there are things wrong at the King Power that are on like a board level and everything else. Ruud van Nistelrooy can only do the best that he can, and you know the players are doing the best that they can. If there are players, because when in any field that you do, I'm a salesman. There is always going to be a better salesman than me. Yeah, doesn't mean I'm incompetent and can't do my job, but there's always a better salesman than me. I might not be able to get this person to sign a contract or to let me in or whatever else. But it doesn't mean that I'm incompetent to do my job. I'm still fucking good at my job. And against another salesman, I'd absolutely rip him 7-6 ways to Sunday. But I'm just trying to put it in other terms. There are players that are not fit for purpose. That is very true. I would say that. I would very much say that. I'd say that's very much the case, guys. You know, we do have a lot of bad players in the team that aren't fit for purpose, that are still on 40, 50, 60 grand a year. You know, it's mental. A week, I should say, not fucking grand a year. That's a joke, isn't it? Yeah. No, Danny Ward's on 40 grand a week, and we've got a lot of players that are on a lot lower than that, which just makes you cry. But anyway, guys, it's been emotional. Thanks for checking in. And as Greg says, everyone, please make sure you like the stream on your way out and sub if you haven't. It'll help massively. It will, and I really do appreciate that, guys. I'm sorry it's been so long. I am going to do a FIFA career mode just because I'm feeling a bit naughty after all of these bits. I wanted to know if it'd be something you guys are interested in. Whoever's left in the chat, just quickly. I'm thinking of doing a FIFA 25, so FC 25 stream or a series on YouTube that I'm going to put out that's going to be Leicester City when they're relegated. so I'm gonna do like a career mode, Leicester City career mode, like FC 25. I'm gonna do like a recording on here, and I'm gonna do it that Leicester City rebuild, and I'm going to rebuild the whole thing from the ground up. So like a couple of youth academy players, a couple of other players that we managed to keep a hold of, and we're going to have like targets to raise money and all that sort of stuff. And it'll be like a couple of seasons. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, so we could listen to the comments and stuff for signings. So like I could do the first episode, and we won't sign anyone, and then a couple of seasons in there, I'll say post in the comments for signings and stuff. And then we can do it like that, and we can have like a season series sort of thing. So if everybody be interested in that, I'm probably going to start doing that later on today. Or today it's 9:30. Maybe tomorrow. Who knows? Yeah, cool. Right, sound. That's enough for me. I'm happy to do that, guys. So look, I'll catch you all later, and yeah, appreciate you coming in for such a long time, guys. I'm gonna love you and leave you, but manifesting Ben Nelson, mate. Level head. Ben Nelson, Will Alves, Monga, Casey McAteer. If we do go down in the Championship next season, it's going to be amazing to watch. Absolutely amazing at the King Power. Buzzing because of all these young players. Trust me. And hopefully we'll keep fat Arlo. But we'll see. Right, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you. I will see you next time. But like I say, I'll get onto this FIFA thing, and I'll upload it to the channel. So take care, guys. As you say, Greg, I agree. He does need to be captain. See you in a bit.